This is Zach from MyCodeTeacher.com, and in the last tutorial we had put together a section in sounds class to better categorize our sounds on the left side of the iPad when it displays. So we're going to take a look just as a quick overview of what we did last tutorial. We made over here on the left side a beaches and a thunderstorm section, and we only entered 2 sounds for each section because we just wanted to save some time. We'll eventually plug them all in for the final touches, but in this tutorial we need to add more data to each cell on the UI table view, and so we're going to have to customize each UI table view cell by making our own custom subclass of the UI table view cell. And so with that, it'll inherit all the properties of the UI table view cell, but we can add our own properties to it to make it more unique. And so let's go ahead and get started by doing that. So if we come up here and we go to New and New File, okay, and we're going to want to select Objective-C class. And the name of this class is going to be Master View Cell. And this is going to be a subclass of the UI table view cell. So we'll just save that right there in our project, and it's going to add it to our document. Okay, so the first thing we need to understand when making a custom cell is, what do we want in that cell? In this case, we want a left icon, we want a title, and we want a description. And so basically we're just going to need to know what type of information we're going to be putting in that cell. So we just said an icon, a title, and description. Well, an icon would be an image, so we would need a type of UI image view. A title would be a label, and a description would be a label. And those labels then set their label value or their text value to an NS string. So we don't need an NS string, we need a UI label. So in the .h, let's go ahead and add these properties. UI image view, we're going to call this simply left icon. Okay, UI label, we're going to say title, UI label, description. Okay, now that seemed pretty easy. So on the .m, in the .m, that's where it gets a little bit more complicated, and that's because in the initialization code we have to manually create the image views and the labels, and then we have to set their coordinates. So what we're going to do here is, in the initialization code here, we'll start with the title, and that's because in the table view we already have our title, and that's the text value of the UI table view cell. So we're going to start with that so we can see how we can customize our title to appear left and right, and exactly where it's going to go in the cell and whatnot. So let's go ahead and say that we want to allocate a new instance of UI label. So title equals, we already know it's of type UI label in the .h, UI label allocate, and we're going to initialize it with a frame. And we have to make a frame. So we're going to make a frame by using the CG rect make. We're going to say we want it to be 75 and 8, 230. And so what that is we're basically saying we want it 75 pixels over to the right, down 8 pixels. We want the frame to be 200 pixels wide and 30 pixels high. So we'll show you that here in just a second. So now we need to say that we want the background color to be clear, otherwise it might show up white, and if we had another color then it might interfere with that. So we're going to say background color equals UI color clear color. We're going to set our text color text color equals UI color black color. Title.font equals UI font, font with name. We'll say Arial, and we'll give it a size of 15. So already you can see here how it's really easy to customize exactly what you're wanting. We're able to customize the background color, the text color, the font. We're able to place it exactly where we want in the cell. So now we need to add this label to the content view. And so if we say basically self.content view, add subview, and we're going to go ahead and say title, and that should be added. Okay, so we're going to come back and we're going to add the description and the left icon here in a bit. But what I really want to do is go back to the master view controller, and if you excuse me, and if you scroll down to cell for row at index path, we are going to be able to customize our UI table view cell. So rather than reusing a UI table view cell, what we really need to do is we need to reuse a master view cell, which is a subclass of the UI table view cell. So this is fine. If cell equals nil, then we want to say cell master view cell allocate. And the reason it's not showing up right now is because we need to import it. So we're going to import it here at the top, master view cell.h. We need to import it here in the .h as well. Master view cell. Okay. Now come back and scroll down to the cell for row, and there it shows up green, so we know that it has been successfully imported. And now what we need to do is cell has already been declared as a UI table view cell, and so we need to convert it. We need to force a type on it that will still convert it successfully, or cast it basically, by saying master view cell star cell dot title. I forgot it. I'm sorry if we named it just title, or yeah, we did. So dot title equals, and then we'll say current sound dot title. So let's cut that out right there. Now you're probably wondering why it's not showing up, and that's because we have not declared it as a property. Even though we put it in the .h, we still need to add that property piece of code at the bottom saying this is a property and it's staying in memory. So let's go ahead and come back here, say at property non-atomic retain, and this is a UI label title. Now I need to synthesize it right here in the .m at synthesize title. So you start to see these little clues so you don't mess up as much as you're starting to code, because okay, so now we see here that this is saying there's an incompatible pointer type. Remember I said that we're not using an NS string, we're using a UI label. So that means that I need to set the title not equal to an NS string, but we need to take the title and we need to see if there's any other variations where we can take the title's text. So we know that the title is a UI label, so we can say .text equals current sound.title, and that should fix it. So now if we compile here, we should see a little difference in the way that our tables appear. And do you see that? They now appear over to the right because we said we wanted them only 8 pixels down, and we want them 75 pixels over to the right. And then we made a label that is 200 pixels wide, so it's a very wide label, and 30 pixels high. So we can see here that we're ready to insert the icon and the description. So let's go ahead and begin working on that. So we'll come back here to the master view cell .m. Actually, let's just go ahead and take care of these properties so we don't forget. At property, non-atomic retain, UI label, description. At property, non-atomic retain, UI label, left icon. And actually this needs to be UI image view. Okay, so let's put these in order. Kind of an organizational thing. And let's go back and add description and left icon to synthesize. Synthesize left icon, synthesize description. Okay, so now let's bring the title down a little bit here. And what we need to do is we need to make the left icon. And so basically we're going to say left icon, and we're going to allocate a UI image view equals UI image view allocate init with frame CG rect make. We're going to say 7, 9, 57, and 57. Okay, so we know our icon's height and width is going to be 57, and you can download the exact same icons that I'm going to include right from the site download files on this video. You should see a little icon on the left side saying download files. Now I haven't released this video yet, but when you log in, you go to lessons and you select any video. You should see the download video files right here. Okay, so we've got the left icon, and we know that it's 7 pixels over to the right, so it's just a little bit of space, or a little bit of space from the left, and 9 pixels down from the top. And so all we need to do now is we need to complete that with the right bracket, and we need to add it to the content view. So self.content view, add subview, and we're going to say left icon. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get our icons. Okay, so I just pulled my icons folder from my old project, and so they're all right here in a folder, and you can see everything that I use, and I've also included the .psd and the template so that if you have your own icons that you want to add, you can go ahead and change or adjust them at will. Okay, and so lastly, let's go ahead and put a description in. So desk. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our first icon by going to the master view controller. And if you scroll down back to where you were under the cell for row and index path, we need to come back here and we need to do another override of the UI table view cell again, master view cell, and we're going to say the title, or I'm sorry, the left icon is equal to current sound dot sound icon. If you remember, the sound icon is of type UI image view, and the data should be plugged in at the top. And so now for the description, we'll just go ahead and include that here too. Okay, so again, we see that the compiler yelled at us here. And so we need to say left icon dot image equals current sound dot sound icon. And that's because the left icon is of type UI image view and this is of type UI image. So if we go to the top now where we initialized all this code, we need to actually add our icons for each sound. And so we can do that by saying right below, I usually do it right below the first initialization because it's the first thing that shows up on the UI table view cell. We'll say ocean.sound icon equals UI image, image named, and ocean.png. And that's because here in the icons we have ocean.png. Now to make your files organized under supporting files, I'd make a new group and I'd call it images or icons. It doesn't matter what you call it. And let's go ahead and drag in. We're going to need the ocean. Click copy items into destinations group folder if needed. That's important because if you move your project, it's all going to be in the same place. So we've got ocean, then we need seagulls. Okay, so I'm going to drag that over here. Okay, and we're also going to need, one second here. Okay, we're also going to need rain and heavy rain. So here's the rain, put that into the icons, and heavy rain. We'll drag that right in there. Okay. So now let's do the same thing for the seagulls. We're going to say seagulls dot sound icon equals UI image, image named, seagulls.png. Make sure the name is exactly as it is, otherwise it will not work. Let's do the same thing for the storm. Storm.sound icon equals UI image, image named, rain.png, and storm and rain dot sound icon equals UI image, image named, and heavy rain.png. Okay, so we've got that finished now. Now we've got our sound icon, title, and description, and if we scroll down, we've got our title and left icon, and now we just need to put our description. And so we'll say master view cell dot. You know what? Actually, go ahead and comment that out. We'll come back to that later because we haven't added the description in the actual master view cell itself. We just had the left icon in the title. So let's compile, see where we're at, and then we'll go back and add the description. Okay, so we've got an error here, and it's with the UI image. Unknown receiver UI image. It's because I mistyped it. So make sure you add a capital I if you did it exactly as I did it. And let's go ahead and recompile. And we'll come here. We'll turn it. And you can see that we have our images, but they appear to be distorted because the UI table view cell isn't as wide as it should be. Okay, and so again, we just need to adjust the row height, and so we can actually do that in the storyboard. And so if we quit our simulator here and we go into the storyboard, click the equal sign, it'll give you an overview of if anything's on the storyboard. It'll give you an overview of everything. And so let's select our table view, and if we scroll over to the size inspector, we can see that our row height is set to 44. Let's go ahead and make that 77. Now if we wanted to make our section height higher or smaller or anything like that, we could do that right here too, but we're going to set our row height to 77. So let's go ahead and recompile, and we'll see here that they are now perfectly sized. So now all we're missing is our description. So let's go ahead and add the description. If we quit here and we go back to our master view cell and we come here below the title, we're going to go ahead and we're going to say description desk dot or equals UI label allocate init with frame CG rect make, and we're going to make that 75 over because we're matching the width of the title. We're going to put it directly below the title. We're going to have to make it a little bit further down, so we're going to say 12. We're going to make it a 300 by 50 frame. Okay, so now we just need to do the same, pretty much the same thing we did for the titles, and we're going to say the background color is a UI color clear color, and the text color is going to be UI color, and instead of black we're going to make it gray, so it's kind of like a subtext. It kind of adds some style to the cell. And then we need to set the font. So description.font is equal to UI font, font with name, Arial. Size, we'll make it 10 because it has to be smaller than the title, so the title sticks out more. And then we just need to add it to the content view. So self.content view, add subview, and description. Now let's copy this title and put it back up here, and we should be good to go. Now we just need to add in the master view controller.m the description property. So master view cell cell.description equals current sound dot sound description, and we actually need to say dot text, and we forgot the right parenthesis here, and we'll save that. Okay, and this should be desk.text because we didn't name it full description. Okay, so let's go ahead and run now. We've already got it compiling, so we're going to stop and rerun here, and we should see our description appear. And lo and behold, there it is. So it really adds to I guess to the eye candy of the application. You know, you have your icons, you've got a nice title, you've got a good description, and really you just need some graphics to make things stick out more. So in the next tutorial, we're just going to solely work on the GUI of the application, or the GUI as I like to call it, and we're going to get everything set up so that when you select an icon, the icons will animate to each individual slot. So the next tutorial is going to be only GUI, and then the tutorial after that we're going to work on sending the icon from the master view to the detail view, and then having it animate to the appropriate slot. And so that will also be quite a fun tutorial. So this is Zach from mycodeteacher.com, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.